9.
You're listening to the Radio Wammo Breakfast, only on Kiwi.
Is joining us now to talk politics, leader of the Labour Party. It's Phil Goff with us this morning. Good morning to you, Phil.
Yeah, g'day, Wammo.
Joining us via bat phone today.
Yeah. I'm just hoping I'm travelling down the motorway, so if you lose me, I'll be right back to you.
All right. Now, no, it was a couple of weeks ago you
Hey,
gave...
I've got to add, I am not driving myself.
No, you're not. No, good. Following the rule to the letter. Right. A couple of weeks ago, you were, or you gave your nationhood speech. Now, over the weekend, the Labour Party President Andrew Little said that he had personal concerns about the speech. Phil, why would he have cause to say that?
Well, I rang Andrew about that, and he assured me this morning that he'd told the reporter concerned that he was comfortable with the speech. He knew that I was going to give it. He knew the topic that I was speaking on. He was uncomfortable about one thing, and that's the way it was beaten up by the media as being, a Brash-style speech. I've got no more in common with Don Brash on race issues than I have on flat tax rates. But he was certainly concerned about that aspect, but he said to the reporter that he was comfortable with the speech. I looked on that front page story. I couldn't see that comment anywhere.
He also said, apparently he said to the Herald that the speech received a mixed response from the party's rank and file. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, well, look, there'll always be some people that don't agree with whatever you say on anything. I'll speak out on the issues that I feel strongly about, and I've got to say that overwhelmingly the feedback that I've got is positive. People didn't like the way the media had beaten it up, but the content of the speech, the three things I said in it, condemning the racist and divisive language that Harawira used, the shabby deal done by the Maori Party to get bad legislation on emissions trading through, and concern about cynical politics around the foreshore and seabed. Those are all issues. I talked to Parakura Horomia and Shane Jones about that before I gave the speech. They saw the speech. They were entirely comfortable with it.
Okay, well, so obviously the party president, though, has some kind of concerns, and you say you've talked those over and now he's satisfied.
Well, no, what he said to the journalist yesterday before he talked to me was that he was comfortable with the speech. But you wouldn't have taken that anywhere from the story that was written on the front page of the Herald today.
Well, he said, this is a direct quote. He said, "The extent to which I've got concerns is an issue for me and Phil, and no doubt the party and Phil, and I wouldn't air those publicly." But he's still insinuating that he had concerns.
Well, as I say, the discussion that I had with the New Zealand Council, people indicated they were concerned at the way that the thing had been portrayed. Everyone who had read the speech said that they were absolutely happy with the speech itself. That was the feedback that I got from the Council.
This is worrying, though, is it not, that that there appears to be, whether there is or not, that there appears to be mixed messages coming out of the Labour Party and about your speech and potentially your leadership?
Well, there's no mixed messages about the latter, and as I say, there'll be different viewpoints on some of the issues in it. But these are views that I canvassed beforehand in the Labour Party caucus before I gave the speech. You can't. Let me say this. I can say it to a radio journo. You can't believe everything you read in the paper. I read in the Dominion on Friday, Thursday or Friday, which this article follows on from, that a guy called Grant Robertson, who is a member of Parliament, was unhappy about the speech and would be raising it in caucus. Grant was one of the people that checked the speech beforehand and said he had no problems with it. So, there's a bit of mischief making going on from outside of the party there. People that have got an axe to grind, but some of these comments are just straight out and out wrong.
But will your message now be to the rank and file of the Labour Party to stay on message, no matter what, even if you get approached by a journalist? This is the line that you need to take. I mean, are you going to take that style of leadership? Are you going to tell people what they should be saying to journalists?
Oh, look, people are growing up enough to know what they should and shouldn't say, and they're also adult enough to have their own opinions. We don't run a Stalinist organisation in the Labour Party. People will have different points of view from time to time, and they'll express it. But what I think will worry people is that these sort of things get beaten up in the media and used against the Labor Party when sometimes people make comments in good faith, in context, and they're portrayed as saying something rather different from what they've actually said.
All right, on to a bigger issue, really, I suppose. Copenhagen, it's almost underway. The world's media and attention are now on it, and it looks like John Key says he's going to be there. He's going to be there for the end of it. Apparently, he says that's where the business is taking place. Would you have gone as well?
Oh, look, absolutely. I mean, he has to be at the end of it because that's where the decisions, as such as they may be, are made. The problem that I had was that he spent a couple of months saying that he wouldn't be there. It was clear that the senior leaders in the international community would be there. This is the biggest issue that we confront in the first decade of the 21st century. And what sort of message did it send from New Zealand for its leader to say, no, can't be bothered going to that one? You have to be there at the leadership level because that's the area in which the final decisions are actually made. Lucy Lawless had it right, as did Keisha Castle-Hughes. I think that he should have listened to them rather than dismissing Keisha Castle-Hughes by saying she should stick to acting. She had it right, he had it wrong.
Why do you think he's going now?
Oh, he's going now because it would be utterly embarrassing for him not to go. There's probably upwards of 120 world leaders going. For New Zealand not to be there would be hugely damaging for us. The message would be New Zealand doesn't think it's serious.
So is the reason he's going because there's some important people there as opposed to the actual issues itself?
Oh, I'm sure he'll be part of the photo opportunity, but the importance of being there is not the photo opportunity. Of course, it's the substance of the issues.
Yeah.
I guess from his point of view, the weakness in going will be that he's taking with him an emissions trading scheme that defeats the purpose of having an emissions trading scheme. It's meant to put a cost on the polluter for emitting. Instead, it takes the cost of the polluter, puts it on us as taxpayers, and therefore is self-defeating in what it's trying to do.
Do you agree that we've got a real image problem going on at the moment? Where on one level, on a marketing level, we're telling the world that we're 100% pure, clean and green and all that kind of rubbish, when in the reality we've got all sorts of things going on. Dirty dairying, waterways that are all clogged up with muck. We've got all these emissions going on. In fact, a plan that's just been revealed that 3 companies are planning on dairying in the Mackenzie Basin, where it's just absolutely ludicrous that anything even lives in the Mackenzie Basin at all. We've got a real image problem going on here, Phil.
Well, I think we've got an image problem, not so much because of those specifics, but because of how we're seen to act as a good international citizen. You know, that branding is incredibly valuable to our tourism. It's incredibly valuable to our trade, food and beverage. But if you're going to use the branding, then you've got to walk the talk. And the critical thing that we're being that we're having used against us at the moment by the Europeans and probably by the Americans in the future is that we're not pulling our weight. Now, you know, there's a bit of hypocrisy involved in a lot of the critics. But the truth is we've got to protect that brand and we've got to do the right thing internationally, not only for our economic purposes, but because if we don't do the right thing internationally and be part of the solution, then we're basically saying this problem that will be environmentally and economically devastating, we're not worried about and we're not going to pull our weight on. We're only little in terms of emissions, but we've got to be seen to pull our weight.
Just specifically, Phil, looking at this issue of these planned dairy farms in the Mackenzie Basin, under the plans, apparently, cows will be confined in cubicle stables 24 hours a day for 8 months of the year from March to October. This sounds like European farming, and allowed outside for 12 hours a day from November to February. I mean, this is kind of unprecedented in New Zealand, surely.
Yeah, it's totally new to us. As you say, the Europeans and other countries do it. I've been in big dairy farms in places like Saudi Arabia, you know, where they've got 9,000 cows and there's not a blade of grass to be seen anywhere.
Yeah, it's nasty stuff.
The cows are kept inside. Now, hey, you can do, I don't think my problem is that it means that, you know, animals can't use their instinctive behaviours, but you can treat animals humanely if you do it right. I mean, that dairy farm I talked about in in Saudi Arabia, there was no sign that the cows were anything other than, they were social.
Yeah, but
they weren't just in little cubicles. They were allowed.
Come on, Phil, it's ridiculous. Farming in places where there shouldn't be farms in New Zealand. Come on.
Well, no. I mean, that's the second issue. The second issue is, why would you put a dairy farm in an area that was particularly dry and had water problems? That's dumb. But what I'm talking about is part of our image is the open range cow. That's how we've done it.
Right.
That's how it's environmentally more acceptable as well. It doesn't have some of the costs involved. What I'm saying is that it's not automatically cruel, as the Europeans do, to confine cows for much of the year.
But that's not to say we should do it here.
No. It wouldn't be my choice at all, because we don't need to.
Okay. Thanks.